Now, let's be real. Anytime that developers of video games try to incorporate things such as religion, politics into the main storyline of their structured game, it never ends up going well. Obviously, there are some things with their own fictional religions, cue Dragon Age up right here, but whenever it specifically has correlations to Christianity in ways that are completely not even veiled whatsoever, this is what's going to get fans a talking and not a buying. Of course, we're talking about Neil Druckmann. I'm going to use his name correctly for the first time, and we're talking about Heretic. And here's where we go straight into it. The Naughty Dog, helmed by Neil Druckmann, the first time and only time that I will say his name correctly. Probably, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Intergalactic. The Heretic Prophet appears to target Christianity as by Earthworm Jim creator slams Druckmann and his team. Earthworm Jim. If you guys have never played it, that was iconic for me as a kid. It was always extremely hard, but the art was really great. And, for people of our age, especially around that time period, it was massive. Naughty Dog's upcoming sci-fi game Intergalactic has raised eyebrows for its seemingly deliberate focus on religion, and Neil Druckmann has said that himself. He has said that, well, they actually did make their own religion. But it starts in the 1980s, and what happened in the 1980s in America with Christianity? Satanic Panic happened. It's funny how this is supposed to be 2,000 years in the future, yet the storyline starts off and breaks off of things from the 1980s. While the Intergalactic has been described, has a deep exploration of faith and belief system, early details suggest it's less about thoughtful discussion and more about targeted critique, with Christianity appearing to be the primary subject of scrutiny. Why? Because Christians don't fight back. Because the Christian denominations have been so freaking watered down, and there's so dadgum many of them. Everyone believes their own thing. Some prosperity, some Arminian, some are predetermined, predestination, all that kind of stuff, and little things in between. Christianity is watered down, diluted. They're an easy target. They're also an easy target because, at least in America, based off of Judeo-Christian values, which is what basically gave us the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and a lot of our law systems, you have to find the biggest motherfucker in the jail and try to take them down. You're not going to do this to other people because other religions are a lot more violent whenever they're criticized. Christianity is about turning the other cheek. And I know that is a very, very, very childish way of saying it, but that is how they treat Christians in society. That's why they always have done that. Now, set 2,000 years ago in the future, but diverging from history in the late 1980s, what I talked about, they introduce a dominant religion that has evolved over centuries. Sounds a little bit familiar. Druckmann has emphasized how much time was spent developing this fictional faith. Probably not a lot. He probably just watched a bunch of documentaries on Satanic Panic, and maybe he was raised Catholic, so he went to Catholic school. I don't think he spent a whole lot of time developing this fictional faith. I think all he did was bring up new names, detailing how it has changed and been bastardized over time. This mirrors a common narrative in media where Christianity is unfairly framed as being outdated, hypocritical, or oppressive, because Christians are oppressive. Sure we are. We're oppressive with our beliefs. We don't actually do anything about it. Great. You know what's more oppressive? And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's my own channels. I don't have to worry about protecting anybody else anymore. You know what's a very oppressive religion? Radical Muslims. The fact that the game's timeline diverges in the 80s, we've already talked about that. So let's just go over. Look at this absolute freaking guck. Actually, I'm not going to say that either. According to leaked details, the protagonist, a bounty hunter, finds herself. Are we sure it's a herself? Because I've seen the trailer for this. And, maybe biologically a herself. I'm sure that's going to be a topic of discussion that goes on in the game because we saw what went on in other Naughty Dog games. I'm sure that the sexual gender identity, and that's all going to play a part in this, especially if you look at the main character, which will be on the thumbnail of this video. The mystery resolves around what happened to its followers, with much of the game's plot seemingly built around deconstructing their beliefs. There you go. That's what they have to do. One of the biggest religions in the world, or at least in the world where he is allowed to have this free speech in order to put out this art and entertainment. the one that is allowing you to do that, because it is your God-given right, of course, he's going to make fun of that and try to deconstruct it, because that's what these people kind of try to do all the time. They reap the benefits while trying to pick holes so they can feel like they're on top. Hey, that's their freedom. You should thank God for that. A pattern of disrespect towards faith. Naughty Dog is no stranger to controversy when it comes to pushing divisive themes. In The Last of Us Part 2, where we first had, or I wouldn't say Big Mike, but we had Abby Kababi come in there and beat the shit out of Joel with a golf club in the first half, in the first half of the game, making absolutely no sense with its heavy-handed storytelling. You know, The Last of Us Part 1 was one of the best-selling games on the PlayStation. It was actually like everyone around the world loved it. And then The Last of Us Part 2 came out. A lot of people liked it. And that's what really turned everyone against Naughty Dog. And then Naughty Dog turned everyone else, everyone that was on the other side, against them by blocking anyone who would even mention them. Not even showing copyrighted content, but even just talking about it, giving their own opinions. They would issue strikes on their channel, taking them down. I know, anecdotally, I'm just talking about Geeks and Gamers right now. I'm pretty sure Ryan Kendall had something to do with that too. Not to do with it, but like he had a part where he was also hit. But this is what they were doing to people. Can't criticize nothing. However, you can criticize Christianity, one of the biggest religions in the world. Makes a whole lot of sense. This development is emblematic of a broader trend with the gaming industry, because as companies grow and their corporate structures expand, the creative direction often shifts away from the foundational principles that once made them great. We have seen that. They have shifted away from the foundational principles, and that's why all these gaming companies are fucking failing. Ubisoft, she gone. All of their DAI, the Sweet Baby Inc., all the kind of stuff that they've been trying to implement into the gaming spaces, where people were just there to play games and basically interact with great stories, all that shit's gone because it has been tainted. And look, he's just tainting more, and that's totally fine. Now, this is Doug Tinnaple, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, but this is the creator of Earthworm Jim, so we're going to go straight into his comments. I knew the Naughty Dog and Insomniac guys when the company started, and they were solid gamers, not secularists, pseudo-philosophers taking passive-aggressive potshots at Christianity. As administrators and human resources grow in companies, they all merge to the left. That goes for American universities and hospitals too. Most were started by conservative Christians that then turn into institutions that don't produce the quality of yesteryear. Why? Because they're always looking for profit. Conservative people of faith don't need to create a parallel market. We need to create a viable market where games are rooted in merit of gameplay, not philosophy of the owners or the cinematics tacked on at the end. That's what gamers have been saying. Gamers have been the most based from the beginning. I mean, Hollywood was based way back in the 30s. The 30s, 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s, Hollywood was based. Gamers have been based basically since the inception. They just want something that's entertaining. And then whenever we got like overarching stories and everything like that, things that could really like pull you in, you could spend hours and hours and hours completely going through entire new worlds where you're not just reading it on a book or seeing it on a screen, you're interacting with it. People have wanted that, and they have stayed true to it. Now, when they started putting this other crap into it, that's why the gaming industry is seeing the spikes that it has been seeing, because a lot of these companies that were built up on actually putting good games out there. Let's look at Ubisoft. Let's look at BioWare. Let's look at Bethesda. Let's look at Rockstar, what they're doing now. You see how things are trailing way down. Now, I'm just going to say that his name is Doug Tinnaple, even if I'm pronouncing it wrong, because it's going to sound like 10 nipples. Doug Tinnaple's point highlights a shift that has taken place in studios like Naughty Dog. Once known for gameplay innovation and compelling narratives, the company now seems more invested in using this platform to push an agenda. And that's what I just talked about right there. So he is agreeing with me. I am agreeing with him. Technically, he said it first. But we're on the same page, and a lot of gamers are on the same page. And Intergalactic is not the first. It won't be the last. It's just the latest example of the shift with the focus on faith, which I don't know why you would make an intergalactic game based on the faith of something that only resides on Earth. Makes absolutely no sense. And the article continues to go on just saying that Christianity is always the target because the Christians don't bite back. They haven't read the Old Testament. I don't know what you guys think about this. I know I'm just getting sick and tired of it. I'm not getting sick and tired. I am fed up and ready to vomit. Pea green soup, like The Exorcist, all over this kind of stuff. I'm not going to touch Naughty Dog with a 10-foot pole. I am not going to go anywhere near this game. Heretic was the right way to title it. I can agree with you on that. And I think they're going to see that whenever it goes to release. If you guys have anything to say, leave it down in the comment section below. This is Malty from Mouth of Malty. Appreciate you being there. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.